Hello and welcome to the part 2 of the Mongodb tutorial series. In the last video we had configured the Express application, and in the current video we are going to add MongoDB. I'm going to explain the video in two parts. The first part will be about configuring MongoDB Atlas, and in the second part I'll talk about integrating the same with the Express application that we have built. I'm logged into my MongoDB account and we can see this organizations tab. So I'll click on organization, and first step is to create a project. So I'll say new project. So I'll call it project 2. Next, and I'll say create project. After creating the project, we'll need to create a cluster. So I'll say build a cluster. I'll go with shared clusters because it's a free tier, and select my region and my cloud provider accordingly and say create a cluster. This step will take 2 to 3 minutes, so you'll have to wait. Our cluster was created, so we'll click on connect. We need to add a connection IP address. If you are working alone, then you can go with add your current IP address, or if you're working in a team but are working on data that is not sensitive, then you can go with allow access from anywhere. So I'll select this option. Once you're done with this, you'll have to create a user and a password. So I'll say you should take a note of the password and the username and keep it safe because it will be used while setting up our connection URL. I'm creating a DB user. After we are done with the first two steps, we'll go ahead and click on choose a connection method. Here, since we are working on an application, so we'll go with the second option, that is connect your application. And we'll need to copy this because this is the connection URL that I was talking about. You'll have to replace this part with your password that you just created a few minutes ago, and also we'll have to replace my first database with the database that we create. So I'll copy this and I'll keep it somewhere safe. Next, we would close it and go to collections. Right now, there are no collections inside our cluster. So we'll say add my own data. Here, we'll have to specify the database name. So we'll say shop, and for the collection, we'll say items and say create. Here, the database name refers to the collection of tables and the collection name refers to the tables itself. Inside collections, we can see that under shop we have items table. We're done with all the steps that were needed for our MongoDB Atlas. Now we'll head over to the code and see what needs to be done. An Express application is able to connect to MongoDB using Mongoose. Mongoose is an NPM dependency that is provided to connect to MongoDB Atlas. So we'll have to install it first. So I'll say npm I mongoose. Mongoose was installed and we can check it in our package.json. We have mongoose here. Now let's write the code that is related to mongoose. We'll say const mongoose require mongoose within single quotes. We'll be using the connect method present within mongoose. So we'll say mongoose.connect, and this takes two parameters. The first parameter is the connection URI, and the second parameter is for the purpose of configuration. So let's create two variables for the same. And this is a string which we generated on MongoDB Atlas. Here we'll have to replace the entities that are there within angular bracket. For example, I'll put the password which I created, and instead of my first DB, which is coming here by default, I'll write the DB that I created, or the database name, which was shop. The second parameter is a JSON object. Let me paste it. Let's add these two parameters. This is a promise-based function and will return .then and .catch in case of success and failure. So we'll say .then. It will take a callback function, and we'll say .catch. This will also take a function. The error is returned in an object, so we'll name the error object as ERR, and we'll say console.log the error is ERR, and we'll say if it is successful, then we'd like to see a success message. So we'll say console.log connected to MongoDB Atlas. That's it. We'll save it and we'll run our server. Seems to be some error. Unexpected token closing bracket. Alright. The issue is that it's not a string, it's an object. So we'll just remove these two double quotes. Now it should work. Let's try again. Running on port 5000 and connected to MongoDB Atlas. So yeah, this completes the second tutorial. In the next video, we'll be looking at how we can set up a schema and then start populating values in our table on MongoDB Atlas. See you in the next one.